I got to sneeze. Lord have mercy. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to wait until a few people jump in. We're out here in Savannah, Georgia, as you can see, downtown. I am at the courthouse right behind me, 133 Montgomery. And so we're just going to wait for a few people to start filling up the chat. I looked around here to try to determine, you know, where Leilani Simon may already be here in the court. I was talking to a friend last night, and they were asking, you know, is it possible that she would be coming in with the other group, the morning group? And I said, you know, I guess anything's possible, as opposed to having two separate trips, one special for her, and then the rest of the people that have arraignments or other you know, situations going on where they are required to come here to court. For those that are just coming into the chat, we are covering the Leilani Simon case. This is a motion hearing. They're trying to bring DFACS, which is the Department of Children, Department of Family and Children's Services. So it's DFCS, DFACS. That's what that stands for. Let me get over here to the comments, see who all's in here. Hey guys, Pebbles, nice to see you. Pebbles, by the way, thank you so much for all the hard work and everything. I've been receiving all your stuff. I've copied it. Obviously, I can't go quite over it yet, but there's a lot of great information that I am pulling from, so I just wanted to give you a big shout out. Thank you so much for all your work. Katrina, thank you. We see a Facebook user. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, I've been dropping quite a few videos for all of you guys, you know, over the last few days. They've been doing actually decent numbers. They're not too bad, so I just want to thank you guys all for that. If you guys can make sure that on those videos, you guys give it a thumbs up if you guys are watching, and that really helps the algorithm. It helps it push it out, because you know, quite frankly, the stuff traveling, and I've done 3 states, 3 cases in this last week for each and every one of you. We were covering the Madalena Kojakari case. I've got another video that I'm going to be dropping after this live. We've been doing extensive coverage on Alex Murdaugh, and we're back where we were just at a few short months ago, Georgia, Chatham County, Georgia, covering the Leilani Simon case. This is the mom. This is the young mom that brutally murdered her child and threw him away like garbage. I don't want to get into details of it. We'll just talk about it fleeting in nature. I'm sure there are going to be some massive details that will be exposed during the trial process. They are doing a status hearing on February 13th. But we're here on a motion hearing. And I know we've been talking about this, but for those that are just tuning in, what is this hearing all about? So DFACS is the organization, the alphabet soup of child welfare. They're the ones that investigate, you know, endangerment, neglect, child abuse, and things of that nature. So they're going to be doing state stuff. If you guys can just excuse me for a second. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize I was in the construction site. As you can see, the fences are right here. So I actually turned. The gentleman was being very polite. He was sitting there patiently. I just happened to turn my head because I got my glasses. I couldn't see. And he's like, you know, you're kind of in a construction area. I didn't realize that that's what it was. And I just wanted to make sure that I'm not going to be prevented from going into the court hearing. And if he needed me on this side of the gate, I'm happy. He said, yes, ma'am. He was very polite. So no worries about that. But the motion hearing actually is related to bringing that DFACS case in. If anybody knows about child welfare cases are confidential. That means the public, you and I, can't attend those hearings. If you recall, there was a hearing at the juvenile center when we were here the last time, and they would not let anybody access to that confidential hearing because it pertained to children under the age of 18. And if you remember when we were in Tennessee, same thing. So what I see here is that, you know, we heard that Leilani was going to be brought on the backside of this courthouse here. And that, I don't see how that's going to be possible. I know that this building right here behind me here, that's a police annex. So it stores a few of the police vehicles and things that are used here downtown. So I'm wondering if they're going to be bringing her in that building and possibly walking her through here, and probably why they prefer me not being there. But again, the gentleman is ultra nice, and we're just here to document this and listen to the legal strategy and legal maneuvering of the defense as well as prosecution. I'm going to see if I can get a feel of what angle they're going to be going at. You're doing an amazing, thank you. Yeah, we're trying. We did a lot. We've covered a lot of cases. I got to tell you, last night when I got here, and the conditions are really poor out here. If anybody's here in Savannah, they can tell you it's going to be raining. So I did bring a umbrella and everything with me. I got my battery pack, and I'm not too far. So if it does rain, I can get to the car to put the equipment and stuff in it without it doing any damage. So I'm confident that we're okay here. Now, I don't know if they're going to let me bring my phone in, even though I won't be using it inside the courtroom. You know, I always like to have it with me because I like taking notes, but I think that's the reason why they don't want any distractions or hearing any tapping or anything like that in the courtroom. So I may just be forced to take notes and then relay all the information to you guys at a later date. But I'm meeting a couple people that I met out here when we were here for a month. It's funny because, you know, where I'm staying, it's like a home away from home because I stayed there for a month. And so it was just nice to see a lot of friendly faces, and we're really super, super happy about that. But I don't know where Leilani's going to be coming in. I've scoped out, I got here early this morning and scoped out the whole area. I talked to some locals here, and typically how they do it is they bring them on the back side of this courthouse, because this courthouse is under such construction. And as you guys know, where I was set up would have been perfectly fine previously, but because it is under construction, I have to be on this side of the construction site. People can walk through there, but I guess they can't really set up. So whatever, I'll comply. He was ultra nice to me. I don't mind following instruction, but if they were going to push me out here without without proper reason, I would have sat up there and made a scene. I really would have, because it's still public property and I have every right to be there just like everybody else. So have you seen Miss Ann? I have not seen Miss Ann. She called me last night when I got back. I was so extremely exhausted. I literally crashed. I mean, I had been up since 4:30 in the morning. You know, I've been freezing for 2 days covering the Alex Murdaugh case. And then I get here and I meet one of my friends. She takes me out to lunch, and you guys probably know her. I don't want to call her out, but I'm going to call her out. Karen, I love you. Thank you so much. But she took me out to a nice lunch, and by the time I ate all the carbs that I ate, I got to the room and that was it. I was done. I spoke to another friend for about an hour, and I was out. And I saw that this morning that Miss Ann was trying to get a hold of me last night, but nobody was getting a hold of me last night. I was done. I was toast. I was ready for bed, and that's where I stayed until about 4:30 this morning. So, but we're out here. We're going to cover this case. I got a few friends that are going to be meeting me up here, and we're just going to sit in. Like I said, we're not here for any purpose. We're not here to pick up everything that we wanted to accomplish with us coming down here and pressuring this county has been accomplished. I mean, and the first thing I wanted was Quinton Simon to come home and to have proper burial. Now, granted, he hasn't had his proper burial because we all know and all have learned that Quinton Simon is still at the FBI, area. That his remains are still with the FBI. But we know that, but Leilani's been to jail, and I said that I really wanted to see Billy Joe at least go to jail for something. Although she didn't go to jail for a charge like she should have, which is really what's frustrating here. You're not going to get this kind of stuff under control until you start charging people for doing things like this. She told the courts, Billy Joe told the courts that Leilani Simon was unfit to take care of her children. Unfit. Let me just turn this around here just a little bit so we can get the courthouse behind me. Unfit to take care of these children. And that she had a horrible drug problem and that she was utilizing drugs while the kids were in her custody. These are the allegations that Billy Joe Powell had informed law enforcement. So you can imagine my surprise. And you know, a friend asked me, do you feel that the alphabet soup of child welfare services failed these children? And I absolutely, without hesitation, said yes, and went a step further, and so did the courts. And so did the courts. And here's why. Because had the courts done their due diligence, they would have known that Billy Joe worked weeks on end out of state. What type of reassurance did Billy Joe give the courts that she would have proper care for these kids in her absence? And what kind of care would that be if you're leaving your grandchildren, you know, weeks on end, 3, 6, 8 weeks on end? How did the courts actually believe she was going to be taking care of these children as she was promising the court to do if they were given to her and taken out of her daughter's custody? These are the problems that I have with this whole story, this whole charade of who's mommy, you know? So I've got a lot of questions there. And I'm still curious as to why Billy Joe is not in jail for those types of crimes. But she did go to jail for 10 days for contempt of court for being just a, you know, despicable person that she is and thinking that she is above whatever a judge tells her. And people are like, oh, she just had an earpiece. And no. Judges don't throw you in jail for 10 days for just having an earpiece in. That would have to be somebody talking back. That would be having somebody to willfully not following the judge's order. And I'm sure the judge gave multiple times that she has told her to turn her phone off or not to talk about the kids or something. There is some contempt of court related to this, and we're really sketchy on the details of that because it's, again, in the juvenile courts, right? They like to block the people out, so there is no transparency to even make sure that the judges and the attorneys and DFACs, for that matter, are doing their job properly. There's no oversight from the public, the people that pay the taxes and pay their bills. So I don't know, and this is the problem all over this country. There was a little girl, and this is in Tennessee, that just died from the fent issue, you know, got ingested something, was in a homeless camp. The family called the Tennessee Department of Children and Family Services there, and nobody investigated. Nobody investigated this little child in a homeless camp with, you know, substances all around her, family calling in. And their excuse is, well, you know, when we get these calls, they're anonymous and, you know, we have to go to the courts. No, you have to get off your ass and go out there before you go to the courts and have these children removed. You have to go out there and investigate. Don't give me this word salad. Don't give the community word salad. You failed these kids. You continue to fail these kids in Tennessee continuously. And that's what we're finding out. And this poor child, her family is absolutely devastated because her brother, her father, you know, grandpa, and everything were calling in saying that this child is in an unsafe environment. It's in a homeless camp, for the love of God. Like, you know what I'm saying? In a crowd. I mean, they said there was pictures in this article, and there is no way in hell that if anybody got off their ass that there would not have been an emergency order to take possession of that child, period. And this is the garbage that I'm talking about. This is the need for our centralized database that I have been talking about. And this is a place where all the records go. So when you type in a social security number, no matter where they're at, if they've had a case in Florida, if they've had a case in the state of Washington, all that information is in this one database that these social workers can see. They can see the progression of abuse or progression of, you know, endangerment, or if they've been trying to flee responsibility, if they're state hopping to get out from under the Department of Children and Family Services, which is what some people do. This will also help, you know, the social workers be safer, because if there was violence in the past, or if there was SA allegations in the past, they're well aware of that. It's not starting all over it. It's not recreating the wheel. It's just picking up the ball and moving it forward to make sure the children are safe. And what I really like about this centralized database is if somebody did try to stay hot, for example, and they moved from Florida, say, over to, you know, Oklahoma, in a desolate area, Oklahoma. When they change that driver's license, it will trigger the local Department of Children and Family Services that somebody has an open and active case in a different state that has just moved into their community, so they can be proactive and start reaching out to that family immediately and start making sure that they don't fall through the cracks. This is a huge problem I'm having, and we're going to be rolling this out. As many of you guys know, I told you, we're going to be traveling this year, but I'm double dutying. We're going to every county and community we come in. We're going to be sending off letters. We're going to be touching base with all the politicians on both sides of the aisle, because in my opinion, this is the one thing that should be bipartisan. This should not be you know, a black and white issue. This should not be a right or left issue. This should not be this kind of issue. This should be this is a problem that's plaguing everyone in this country, and we're watching it you know, week after week after week. Remember, 485 children are harmed and killed by their parents every single year, and those are alarming statistics, and those are based off 2019. You know, our drug epidemic and everything like that has exploded. So those numbers have to be higher. That's more than a child a day being killed at the hands of their parents right now here in the United States of America. And those are statistics that you could not argue with. That is entirely too many. One is too many. 485 is extreme. These are children. These are the most innocent of innocent. This is our legacy. These are our next generation of people like me, people like you. So we really have to start, you know, figuring out a strategy and executing it well. And the only thing I think we can do is start planting the seed on the centralized database that forces all these states to cooperate with one another and, you know, holds them accountable. Also, providing serial numbers on these cases as opposed to names and social security numbers, so the public there will be transparency, so they can't tell us, oh, we got privacy issues. No, you don't, because 1, 2, 3, 4 kid, we have no idea who that child is, but we can definitely tell whether you're doing your job or not for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kid. You know, and that's what the beauty of that serial number and having that up, because what we've been dealing with right now is the alphabet soup of child welfare have been able to hide under the guise of privacy, and we are watching the destruction of their lack thereof. Their failures are having a ripple effect across this country, and we need stronger laws that make them more transparent and have to answer to people like me. So good morning, everybody. I didn't get an opportunity to say good morning to you all. We have almost 500 people in the chat this morning, so please go ahead and give me the thumbs up. We always strive for 1,000 likes on these videos. It's just something that helps move these videos forward and reaches out further on YouTube. And I know each and every one of you guys are working as hard as me to make this channel as successful as possible, and we have grown leaps and bounds. If somebody told me a year and a few months ago that I would have close to 25,000 followers in a year, I would have told them there's no way, you know. And here we are, and I can only imagine just over the next year to 2 years, we're going to be doubling, tripling, maybe quadrupling that number. So, you know, it is a good testament to the content that we're providing here and our audience and our mods, you know, making this a nice experience in the chat so everybody's opinions and viewpoints can be seen and discussed. We don't have a problem with opposing viewpoints. It makes for great debate. It also helps people think outside of the box and think about other different things. What we don't like is people being rude to one another. We deal with a lot of nasty stuff in this country, and you guys watch me travel all over this country covering it. We don't need any more hate. You know, we've got enough to fill the entire world, right? We need more love and kindness in the world. And if you're not going to be that type of person, this is not the channel for you, and you will be immediately removed. We don't, I don't mind debates back and forth. We don't want to call people names. That's not necessary. We don't disparage other content creators, except a few, but we don't even really call them out by name because we refuse to give them a plug. They're not very important to me. They absolutely have no bearing in my life or anything else, even though I'm their entire world, which is kind of sick, but that's okay. I've been paying haters bills at least for over a year. So it appears that we're going to continue to do that. So right behind me, there we go, right behind me over here, that is the entrance to the courthouse here off of Montgomery. And she's going to be here. She may already be here. If not, she will be escorted inside near and around the time that she needs to come to court. And that is at 1:30. She's going to be in courtroom 2C under Judge Stokes. And again, I'm just, as a legal professional in dealing with these cases, because I didn't really deal with child welfare cases in my career. And, I like to hear some legal, because I mean, criminal cases are criminal cases, and some legal strategies and some legal maneuvering you can do no matter what case it actually pertains to, as long as it's a criminal case. So I always like listening, especially to the defense, because the defense has to get creative. The defense has to be on their A game, because there's a lot of stuff, as you hear all the time, people walking on technicalities. Those are strategies. Those are defense strategies that actually work and help the defendant, skate this law. I'm still a little disappointed in the stance that the Chatham County Police took while we were out here, because anybody that willfully violates people's rights are no better than the criminals that they arrest. And we heard Jeff Hadley, No Charge Hadley, gloating at the county commissioner meeting about how he got with the county attorney to get creative with how to stop free speech here in Chatham County. And he was gloating about it. That to me is disgusting. You either are a protector of the Constitution or you're not. This is not a gray issue here. You're either for upholding the laws and the constitutions of your state and the U.S. Constitution, or you're not, period. If you can't walk and chew gum, if you can't handle a murder investigation and protesters with ease, you've got a problem. You have a mismanagement problem. You don't have a Bullhorn Betty problem, okay? This is disturbing, yeah. Also, another thing that's wound up here, I don't know how far, if it's still part of Chatham County or not, but there was body parts that kind of washed up over at the sugar refinery. I'm not sure. I'm just getting information about it. I'm going to go over there and take a look-see after this court hearing's over and see what's going on. But I'm hearing that there's this massive cover-up over it, and I'm scratching my head of wondering why anybody would want to cover up obviously something that seems like it's a malicious homicide or malicious murder, just based on the simple fact that body parts are washing up in the sugar refinery area, right? Like who obviously they didn't just fall off. Video to the court yet? I'm here now, Emma. The court, this building right behind me. I got mirroring images. There we go. So the further out I go, there we go. This building right here behind me is the Chatham County Courthouse. This is where Leilani is going to be going for her motion hearing here in Chatham County and this is 133 Montgomery Street, Savannah, Georgia. I don't know the zip code, but that's where I'm at, and I'm literally kind of catty corner from it. They have the drive here. They're doing a lot of repairs here, and I have another issue here in Chatham County. We have due process laws and speedy trial laws. So when you arrest somebody, you're required under your Constitution to get that done expeditiously. I can't even pronounce that word right now. I will say it again one day and I'll get it right. But you have a right to a speedy trial. We all know that Dolly Vision was arrested out here for snatching a bullhorn. He did not touch the lady, but he did snatch the bullhorn out of her hand. And even though she she tried to hit us a couple times with her vehicle and bragged about that, nonetheless, Dolly was the one that went to jail instead of this violent lady that is a criminal and has been arrested multiple times since that altercation, since that incident happened. And God bless you guys. And so he went to jail. He hasn't even gotten a court date yet. He's out on bail and hasn't even gotten a court date yet. And everybody's trying to say it's this COVID nonsense. I don't know if you noticed, but even President Biden has ended this COVID nonsense. So there is no excuse for you guys dragging crimes out. If you don't have the time to charge them in the court, then quit arresting them, right? Quit arresting people for merely walking down the street. Quit trying to, like, even out front. You guys tried to arrest me like several times for being out there and reporting. I wasn't even causing anything. I was just sitting out there on a camera like I am right now. And you could tell. And I was pushing the envelope too. Because I think they knew if the handcuffs went on me, that shit would hit the fan. I truly believe that. They just wanted a YouTube. They didn't want this YouTube. They just wanted one so they could plaster it all over the screen. That's all they wanted. So they could say, oh, it's not the community, right? Every other person that was arrested was their community member. It's kind of hard to say, hey, these people from out of town are causing all this problem when everybody that was arrested was their own community members. So they were aching to find a way to arrest me or arrest Dolly or arrest Marissa. They were just aching for it. So we didn't give them really an opportunity until our lives were in danger. And Dolly did jump up and help in that respect. And quite frankly, when he went to jail, we returned the favor. We raised holy hell out in front of that police headquarters. And then we raised holy hell out in front of the sheriff's department. Now the sheriff, he didn't do any of this. Like, he came out and told us right there, this has nothing to do with him. He's just housing them. You know, please be respectful to his people. You know, he was so concerned. I mean, God bless that man, that lieutenant chief. He was just ultra nice, but his main concern was his employees. And what a great, you know, that's nice to hear, you know, is that his concern. But he was also on the side of the law too. He wasn't trying to hinder our freedom of speech. He wasn't trying to hinder our rights to assemble and peacefully protest. He wasn't trying to skirt the law and put stuff that, if challenged, would have been thrown out of court. That, my friend, is against the law. They did stuff that violated people's rights here, but they knew nobody would legally challenge it, and so far nobody has legally challenged it. So they knew that. They knew that coming in, because they knew that you'd have to have a lot of money to challenge that. And that, my friend, we are going to start changing soon, because we're going to start making it easier to hold counties and cities around this country accountable when they violate people's rights. It shouldn't take $1 million to go after a county when they violate your rights. That is ludicrous. That is ludicrous. You should be able to file a complaint, and another department in that county take up that complaint and do the due diligence of the people. We pay those bills. Let's not forget, even that county attorney that city attorney that's telling him to put up a loitering sign, we're paying that man's salary. So let's not mistake that. We demand better here in Chatham County. Lots better. And don't forget, I am a taxpayer here. I can prove my taxes. I paid a lot of taxes for a solid month. Can someone give Molly a message for me, please? Someone tell her I seen a knife in Vaughn video yesterday and got a pic. Well, you can send it over to her. You can send it to me. You can send me the pic at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, and I'll forward it over to her if you don't have her email. I wish I had her email, but I think it might be Molly Golightly. I don't know what her email is. I've got it on my email. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you. If one of my mods knows Marissa's email, can you please put it in there for whoever wants to send her a picture? Good morning, Heavens 57. Sailor Purge, nice to see you. Is JLR and Liv there? No, it's just me. I did see, it appeared that Jonathan did go to the Alec Murdaugh case, and outside of a few times of seeing him and speaking with him, I really didn't see him a whole lot. I had my, I was there doing work for the Bullhorn Betty channel, and I wasn't even going to go to that case, but I happened to already be in North Carolina And so I asked my mods, I said, you know, I'm going to go to North Carolina. I'm going to cover the Madalena Kojakari case. And that's when the my mods informed me that Alex Murdaugh was having his, starting his trial. And then actually I knew Leilani's was here. I was always planning on coming back here by the 25th as I was working with some of the residents that live around here so I could see them. So far, the weather is cooperating. It's still an overcast. It does look like at literally any moment the sky will bust open and a dam of water will come down, but hopefully not. We'll see. 1,840 children die from abuse or neglect every year. Do research before you. Excuse me. First and foremost, you, my friend, are blocked, but you can keep watching because I'm going to prove my statistics, you dumbass. I hate stupid people. See, that's the problem with people. They open their mouth before they do their, and if you watch my channel for any amount of time, you would have already seen this video. This is a video of fact, okay? Not your little Google search, dumbass. Do your research.
Tom, it's just a tough subject. A recent study by Brown University showed that nearly 450 children are killed each year by their parents.
My daughters were picked up on a Friday by their father.
I'm sorry. I trust that lady a heck of a lot more than I trust you. So do better research yourself and quit trying to come out here gloating and thinking you're bigger and badder than me. Okay? Because if you are, where are you? I don't see you here. As if you're so concerned about how many kids. And I have a funny feeling you're looking at worldwide figures, not United States figures. So I don't know where you're from, but I'm here in the United States, and those are the figures that I will be working with. Right now, I'm not worried about other countries and other people abroad. I worry right here in the United States of America. That's where I reside, and that's where I work, and those are the stories that I cover. Like, don't pee in my Cheerios this early in the morning. You'll never like me. You'll never ever like me. And if you were here in face, I would give you a piece of my mind, literally a piece of my mind. Watch your step, little girl. Watch your step. I'm a heck of a lot more respectful than Marissa when you get under her skin. You know, she'll tell you where to go real quick. You're lucky you're not there. But don't come back here. That's all I gotta say. Don't come back. We don't need you. We don't like your kind around here. Go back to your cockroaches that don't do research. See, CPS does take kids from good homes. Oh yes, we know that. A great prime example is the Megan Walsh case. John Walsh, which is known for you know, America's Most Wanted and everything like that. He lost his son. His son was abducted and essayed and murdered years ago, and he started the America's Most Wanted. They finally found who did that to his son years later, but you know, apparently there was a lot of damage that did to even the siblings, his brother and sister, one being Megan Walsh. And because she had been a little more vocal about, you know, the stuff that went on behind closed doors, her dad does not like her, wants to punish her, wants to, according to the stuff I'm finding, silence her. And the way he's doing that is using the Department of Children and Family Services in Florida to take her children for doing absolutely nothing. Her house is clean. She has no signs of abuse, but it's because she likes alternative medicine. And quite frankly, it's not the government to tell you how to take care of your child if your child is clean and healthy. You know, if you can't keep your child clean, healthy, and fed, yeah, you need to listen to what the state's telling you because you don't know what you're doing. But I don't think that she is a kind of mom that would allow her kid to die from an illness without taking it to the proper care. And that's what they're trying to allege. But nothing has happened to these children. And this is the most disgusting and most appalling, is that a judge actually signed the order to rip her 5-day-old baby out of her hands. She had just given birth to that baby, and that child was ripped out of her hands. And I'm sorry, whatever judge did that in my state, you're lucky I'm not out your front door protesting. That is disgusting. It's despicable and appalling. And I don't care how much money you're getting paid or not getting paid under the table. You better watch your step. But I tell you what, if I would have raised, if I was there at the time when all this stuff was happening, and I had what I could, I would be out. I would have been protesting on her behalf without a doubt. A one-man show. I'm sure people would have joined me once they found out what was truly going on. Don't think we don't have the ability to cause pressure even to judges for doing the wrong thing. We absolutely can. We can destroy their political stronghold very quickly. Unicorn, nice to see you. Sonia, nice to see you as well. I sent it to you. Okay, I'll get it over to her once this live is over. We're going to be here. I've got a couple friends meeting me here around 1 to go inside the courthouse. And again, we're here just to listen to the legal arguments, take notes, and then report back to you guys what all happened. I know Brett Buffington was, as I saw him as I was leaving Colton County, South Carolina, where Alex Murdaugh was being, it was his trial was just beginning. Apparently I hear that they had some, they're still doing qualifying questions for the jurors. They may be wrapping up this morning with that. They did several motion hearings. I mean, this trial is underway right now. I'm bouncing back and forth whether I should go back and cover more of that trial, because now that I know that will be public and that will be live streamed, I would like to get that taken care of, watched. But I'm pretty sure I can live stream directly from the house as well, so it's not really a huge deal. I mean, the only real thing that we get to watch is him coming into court, him coming out. But I like him having to face me. Having to face what he did, knowing that people don't believe him and don't believe his nonsense. And you know what? And I was talking to some people about everything yesterday, because I dropped that video where we went back there and we saw exactly where, the crime occurred. And there was something, it was dark. The one thing I got out there is it's pitch black. Okay. So at night, it's pitch black. So even if there's lights on the, like, say, the dog kennels, or they have like pole barns kind of out there, even if there were lights on there, they would be shining and illuminating a specific area. They wouldn't illuminate that entire yard. They would only illuminate, maybe a 10 by 10 area. And what I have a problem with is, Paul was kind of inside the door, hanging halfway outside of the door. So I can understand why he, and this is something that one of the gals that I spoke to last night was explaining, and it made perfect sense. But, he was kind of half in the door, half outside of the door. Like there's a line of dog kennels, and then there's like a storage, maybe for the dog food or something. Well, he's laying in and out of that door. So you would think once he saw his son injured, you would think he would immediately pick up the phone and call 911. I mean, that would be what any normal parent would do. Your son, where's your wife? You'd be on the phone calling as you're searching for your wife because you just found your son dead. But if you listen to his call, he calls it in and says, my son and my wife have been shot, or my wife and my son have been shot, whatever order he put it in. But his wife was found 300 feet away from his son, and she was kind of on the grove line. There's a bunch of trees. I don't know if it's necessarily, it looked like a grove back there, like they had some fruit trees or something out there. How did he see her is my question. How did he see her? When he called them both in. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And he calls at 10:08. Now, I can tell you, it gets dark, but when it's out there in that country, you can't see anything in front of your face, let alone a body laying in the ground under, over by the grove, 300 yards away from your son. It would be like, it was hard for me to even see over there, standing from that door. I had to blow it up on the phone to even see close. So how did he find her? I mean, if any parent, normal parent seeing your son, you'd think about it. I mean, literally think about it. Let's put our thinking cap on. If you had just, everybody here pretty much has children. Some of us don't, but we have family or friends, that we, love very, very much. And God help anybody if something happened to them, right? So let's put this in perspective. You are a parent. You have your child. You can't get a hold of your child, allegedly. Can't get a hold of your child. Your child's supposed to be home. So what do? You go home and you're like, your door's locked. I mean, first of all, I realize it's the country, but is it that uncommon that a door's locked? And not only that, but don't you have a key to that door? Why wouldn't you go in? So I was a little taken back of that description, why that had any relevance. And then she might have been running for her. Oh, absolutely. I believe it. I think that's exactly what she did. I think she found her son. I think she started, she turned. I think she knew it was him. I think she was running and he pulled up the second 300 and boom, because that can shoot a distance. He would allowed her to have run that far. So she was running. The direction she was going was definitely away from someone. Because the other way would have been back the way we came. And as you've seen, it's from that driveway and she was running straight. So I think the reason why, because she had already informed a friend that something wasn't right prior to her even getting there. Something wasn't right. But anyways, getting back, we have 700 people in this chat room, so I'm just going to get everybody up to speed real quick. So right now, I am sitting in Savannah, Georgia. We're outside of the Chatham County Courthouse right here. There's the entrance right above my finger to get in there. This is where Leilani Simon is having a motion hearing. Her motion hearing is related to bringing the DFACS, that's a child welfare case that's in juvenile courts. They're wanting to add those documents into this court trial or into her murder trial, stating that it is necessary for the proper defense of Leilani, and without it, they feel that she will not get the proper defense that she is rightfully due under the Constitution. And the state is saying, wait a minute, these are children. These are the confidential files for the child welfare cases, and these children are underage, and they are sealed under 3 different statutes, Georgia statutes, for confidentiality. So here's the kicker. You'd think that when they did their motion to deny, their response to, it's basically a response to the request to have those court cases, those records brought over to this murder trial. You would think on its face that they would not be allowed in because of the strict statutes related to the confidential documents, in juvenile cases. However, she has a right to a proper defense. And if she's not going to be afforded a proper defense, that is appealable grounds. That is appealable grounds. So I think that the judge has to tread very lightly on this, and I think that Leilani's attorney has to argue her case to show the judge how important they are to her defense. And if Leilani's attorney can, and I want, to be honest with you, I really want to see her attorney fighting for her, because I want to know she's getting proper representation in this murder trial. I don't want there to be any ability for Leilani to appeal the decisions of this court. So, it's going to be honest with you, a breath of fresh air to see this attorney, this defense attorney, representing her. I want to see her fighting. I want to see her bringing in these legal arguments. I want to see her doing her absolute best for her client, because that will help at least eliminate that type of appeal in the future. This is a malice murder charge, for, among other charges, for her son. It's a capital crime. They have not stated whether they're going to be seeking the death penalty for Leilani or not, but it's definitely on the table with malice murder. So lots of stuff here. Like I'm trying my best to analyze this case from both sides, and the I just want to see the argument. But if they have a good argument, the defense has a good argument, I don't see where the judge is going to be able to deny them bringing that case over. However, if it is not in the prosecution, the state argues their side much better, then it's going to be denied. But part of her defense might have been, everybody should have known I could not have these children. I was forced. Who knows what she's going to say? She could say, my mom forced me to watch these kids because she has to make money to pay the bills. We don't know what her defense is, guys. We don't know what her defense is. She might put all of this on her mom. I don't think she'd actually put the actual murder on her mother, because her mom, from all intents and purposes, and everything that we have learned from law enforcement, is that her mom wasn't even in and around this area, which is what the problem is, right? Like Quinton would still be alive right now if mom did what she told the court she was going to do. Not mom, but grandma, her, Leilani's mom. So it's nice to see some pink hands. Nice to see you guys. Welcome, everyone. Yeah. Thank you, ZA, for being the newest member of the coffee club. We are a little crazy over here. So we do stuff like show up on people's front doorsteps. We actually get out there and knock and try to find the truth. We interview people and try to get information. We use public record requests to derive a lot of the information that we get and facts that we get. And then we show up to courthouses and listen in on hearings and stuff. I can tell you, I've never had the types of problems personally with any kind of type of law enforcement or a county or a city at all until this county. This county, to me, the management of this, I'll never change my mind. Nothing. And not until Jeff Hadley comes and apologizes to me for violating my rights. I get nothing to say good about him because what he did was violate my rights, and it was done on camera. And whether I choose to come up with $20,000 or $30,000 to sue the shit out of him or not, that's up to me. But I shouldn't have to do that for a law enforcement chief to handle his business above law. When you start breaking the law yourself, again, you're no better than the criminals you throw in behind bars. Period. You may not be carjacking somebody, but you're carjacking my rights. So you're no different than any of other criminals that you're putting in jail, Chief Hadley. Just to let you know, bud. Friend. So we're out here. I'm gonna wait for the people. Do you guys have any questions about this case? For those that are just tuning in or don't know who Leilani Simon is, don't know who Quinton Simon is. Quinton Simon is a 20-month-old child that disappeared back in October 5th, I believe. I don't have the specific date. You think I'd know it, but if I got it right, I'm doing pretty good. And so we ended up rolling up in town like a few days later, like a week later after this child disappeared. The one thing that was noticeable is there was no missing person flyers for this child anywhere. There was only 20 missing person flyers in the entire county, and that's because Bullhorn Betty brought those with her. The family, I asked them a question. My very first question to the family was, why is nobody out looking for Quinton Simon? And it wasn't, because law enforcement told us to stay home. It just was a foul language, riddled with foul language from these people. And I simply just asked a question. And I'm thinking, you know what? There's something seriously going on here. Just like with the Madalena Kojikari, they're not looking for that child. There's like, I saw a handful of missing person flyers in that community that the law enforcement believes that child's dead. I can tell you that when I walk into a community, I can tell exactly just by the way that things are done, where we are at in an investigation, what type of investigation are we looking at, and is this child dead or alive, and is this a recovery mission, or are we really searching for a missing child? I can tell those things. I usually can tell those things within 15 or 20 minutes of showing up into town, just by whether there's signs up, just by the activity of the community, just by those things. If they truly believe a child's alive, you've got people out there. I mean, you don't even have to be part of the family, because there are people just like me there are people like many of you guys out there that don't ask for permission. They just get up and say, hey, there's a missing child. We need to get flyers out. We need to start coordinating search parties and stuff like that. Uncoordinated, not even coordinating with the family, just doing it on their own, just for their own self because they want to help. And that type of stuff is not happening. And we know that happens all over this country. Anytime a child's missing, you have all these nonprofits that get, corral people together and start, they line them up. They either take them out to start looking in areas, or they give them a mess of flyers and ask them to start passing out, talk to people. If you hear any information, tell them to call law enforcement, blah, 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 blah. You know what's going on. So people always try to say, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, obviously I do. Obviously I do, because our batting average here on the Bullhorn Betty channel is pretty high. We just don't get one aspect right. We just don't get the, oh, this child's dead. No, we get it right. So we knew when we came into town within 24 hours that Leilani targeted this child. We knew that this child had been abused since it was born. We knew that she never connected with this child. We knew that no matter what went on in that house, she punished this child for it all. This child was filthy. This child was not taken care of. God knows what this child saw. And we heard of some examples of that abuse from some of the stories that we heard. And that was just in the first 24 hours. We knew, Dolly and I knew without a doubt, without hesitation, that this child did not lose its life by accidental means. That means we never believed this child lost its life in a bathtub or lost its life in the pool. We believe that he was abused to the point of death. And we did find that to be true. Once the allegations came out, people kept asking us to go here and go there. And I told you guys that there's only one means of disposal in that area, and that would have been through the garbage. We went into, nobody in their right mind would walk in those woods. Dolly and I went back there. We were on a four-wheeler, thank God, but we were pulling the four-wheeler up, and we were going to start walking on foot. But literally 6 inches into the wooded areas, I had already seen a pygmy rattler, as well as a few copperheads, I think they were. So I had already saw them. They blend in with the ground, so you have to know what you're looking for in order to navigate the woods in Georgia. And typically, you guys have watched me walk through swamps. You guys have watched me walk searching back hills of Tennessee. You guys have watched me do a lot of stuff. And never have I come across that many rattlesnakes in just 6 inches of me stepping in the woods. I realized nobody in their right mind would walk out there in the middle of the night. So I knew the idea of her possibly burying the child back there, that wouldn't have been. And if that was like that in the woods behind her house, that was like that in every single woods. We talked to neighbors and found out one of the neighbors actually had just was getting into her mailbox and got mail and got struck by a rattlesnake and had to go to the hospital. So, that's the kind of environment out there. So once you take all those, all that information in, you realize that really the only way that child could have been disposed of was through the garbage, which sounds awful, but you guys remember, that's exactly what I said when everybody kept saying, go here, go here. I'm like, guys, look, I'm telling you that there is no possibility of that child being anywhere else. None. So, but we're here out in front of the courthouse. I'm going to be live just for a few more minutes. I'm going to go grab some coffee and some breakfast, and then we're going to go, I'm going to go inside the courtroom. Again, I cannot record inside the courtroom. I'm not even going to be bringing my phone with me inside the courtroom. I am literally going to be bringing a pad of paper and a pen so I can take notes. I believe that they may have a live stream for that hearing. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look. I did look and see if Judge Stokes has live stream capabilities, and she does. So it might be one of those things where I might leave my people inside and come out here and just live stream the proceedings. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to handle that yet, but where they typically bring the inmates in from the county is completely closed off for construction, gates and everything around. Now, I don't know if they still drive them back there or not, even with the construction, but she may already be here for all I know. But I was hoping to get a glimpse of her coming in here today, but it doesn't look like that's going to be possible unless they're bringing her in right here. And if they're bringing her in right here, then yeah, maybe we will have an opportunity, because this right here is the police annex. So that's a parking garage that holds some of the police vehicles for Savannah Police Department here in Chatham County. So I'm just keeping an eye out. As you guys can see, there's not a whole lot of activity here today. I mean, for the better part, I mean, this doesn't even really look like an active courthouse. Not a lot's going on here, you know, with that backup log of, you know, criminal cases you guys have here. You would think that this place would be popping, that you'd be trying to bring all these people in on these cattle rolls and just getting through them as quickly as possible to relieve some of your books. But mismanagement, you know, I mean, that's, I love it when you have communities that think that they want to reinvent the wheel and they fail. This is one of the things that I just feel like Savannah just reinvented the wheel and failed. They don't, I've never seen anything like it. I've never been in any other community like this. I have to be honest. This is insane. This is truly insane. But thank God, right? Thank God, out of all the places we've been in this country, this is the only place that we've seen like this. And her hearing starts at 1:30, so I'm going to be making my way into the courtroom around 1, and then we have plenty of time to get past security. And if I've got something like I might bring the phone in there just to have it with me, so I can start as I'm walking out of the courtroom. I can start sending stuff out to you guys, but we'll see. Can't type today. That's okay, Sailor. That's why I go live. I can't type either. I was doing talk to text with Karen, and I'm talking, you know, telling her where that, you know, I'll meet her. I can't remember what I said, but I think it was something like your way, and or to you, and it came up tuna. Like we can eat. I want to eat somewhere, or I can't remember what I said, but anyways, it came up tuna. So she actually thought I wanted tuna. She had no idea where we could get tuna around here. I'm like, no. Like tuna's like, you know, I'll eat it once in a while, but I'll do like a tuna casserole, or, you know, tuna sandwich or something like that. But I'm not really a tuna person. Typically, my tuna stays in my cabinet so long, I end up feeding it to the cats before it expires. Good morning. I can't believe I'm not getting notifications for you. Okay, well, guys, listen. If you guys are not getting notifications, don't do it right now. But when we power down, when we stop this live, everybody go out there, unsubscribe, and resubscribe to it. Don't do it right now, because if you do it right now, you're not going to be able to make a comment in the chat room for 20 minutes. And we don't want to put you guys out. So you guys need to make sure you do it. But what you can do right now while you're here is go out and change your bell. If your bell is on personalized, put it to none, or even if it is for no, turn that notification button to none, save that, and then turn it back to all. And sometimes that re-triggers the notifications through YouTube. So you guys can do that without penalty, without, you know, not being able to talk. So everybody that did not get a notification that we were live, go out right now and hit that notification bell and turn that notification bell to all. You want all notifications. Because quite frankly, I never post anything that's not related to a case. Well, with the exception of some of the fun stuff like the fair, you know, me having the caricature of me made. It was kind of interesting. I never got to watch how he did it. And so I handed my friend the phone, and she recorded it. And it was kind of interesting. So I thought if it was interesting for me, maybe you guys would get some entertainment value out of it as well. But this is a cute little town. Let me just take you guys for a little spin around. So as you see, I mean, we are literally in downtown Savannah, and we have, you know, a lot of stuff here. Some, you know, these buildings look pretty, you know, historical. They look old. They look like they've been here for some time. They're not new construction. you know? So it's beautiful here. You know, I used to love Savannah, Georgia. Anybody knows I am a Paula Deen fanatic. You know, I went to try to get into the Paula Deen's restaurant one time years ago, and there was literally lines around the block for lunch. And I'm like, you know, it's a 2-hour wait. And you're not only just a 2-hour wait, but a standing 2-hour wait. So I just said, nah, maybe another time, right? Maybe another time we'll go there. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that before I leave here. Go by Paula Deen's just to say I went by Paula Deen's, right? This wind is killing my hair, but it's okay. I haven't had a hair dryer for like the last 3 days, so my hair is just a mess anyways. She's definitely not forgotten about Summer. I said she would never ever stop looking for her. No, I've never forgotten about Summer. Summer was one of the larger cases. We are the team that, and it was a team. It was Olivia, Mom, Marissa, myself, and JLR that went out there, but we made multiple tours. We are the only crew that has had so many tours of that case, and not just tours, actual search tours, where we went out there and went looking inside not Van's houses. We searched the Black Woods of Tennessee and those hollers, anywhere that we could think a child could have been. We went out there and looked, and we continue to go out there. We haven't been out there in about a year. The last time I was personally out there was June 15th, 2021. And that was for her 1-year candlelight vigil that we did at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. And, you know, it really was because law enforcement was saying they just needed, they just needed us to back off a little bit so they could do their job. Well, we backed off an awful lot. We backed off an extremely amount of time. I mean, over a year we backed off of them. Well, not quite a year yet. And nothing has been done. We stopped making noise, and they stopped even giving us updates on the case of where they're at, what they're doing, you know, are they getting close, you know, just an update. And so it's really frustrating for me because they're going to make us have to go out there, and instead of doing a celebration, a memorial, candlelight vigil and prayer for Summer Wells, we're going to have to go out there with our bullhorns and signs and raise hell and get attention to the case and let these law enforcement people know we're still in touch, we're still in tune. I don't want it to go there. I've reached out to the Hawkins County Police Department for an update, and they still have not responded. So, you know, if they want to continue that avenue, that's fine. They can continue that avenue, but that means that we're going to have to go out there and flex some muscle. And I don't really want to do it. It's not what I choose to do, but it's the most effective strategy, the most effective tool to make counties and people like law enforcement hear me and realize, and hear all of you, and realize that we're not playing games. You know, we really want to know what's going on. We're trusting them to bring this case to conclusion, and we realize that they need to hold things close to their chest. But just because you need to hold things close to your chest doesn't mean you can just, you know, block everyone out and not have any, just nothing. You know, that didn't happen even with all the disagreements and stuff that I have with Chief Hadley over this case. He still kept people up to date, up to date, at least in part, here about this case. We had a lot of updates coming out of TBI. We had the whole Summer Wells website on TBI. I went and checked it a few weeks ago, and nothing, no updates since June 15th, 2021. And that is a shame, because that is one of our babies. That is one of our kids. And if you can't handle it, Hawkins County, maybe it's time for you to have the state police step in so they can bring this home. We need answers for that little baby. Her case will not go cold. It'll go cold over my dead body. So I hope you guys support whatever I have to do to make sure that her case is, life is breathed back into that case. But we're going to have to do something, and we're going to have to do something big. That's all I know. Hey, Ruby, it's nice to see you. Oh, did I miss something? I did. Judy, thank you so much. God bless you for the super sticker. Thank you. Did I miss another one? If I did, guys, I am so sorry. I'm on this little phone, and sometimes when we have almost 800 people in a room, they go so fast that while I'm talking, by the time because my little thing is like this big, and by the time it is, and I do appreciate it. So please, I will make sure I start going back when I'm doing lives out here, and if I miss them, I will make sure that I get you guys. Oh, wow, that sucked. I will make sure I get you guys acknowledged. I'll start going through, or I'll maybe assign one of my mods to give me a list of everybody so we can thank you properly. BHBR, you're an awesome woman, being a voice so far, many of with no voices anymore. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And you know, I had to go to the funeral, and maybe people know who Diamond is, maybe they don't. But she was somebody that was unstoppable. You know, she was somebody that had a big, powerful voice. Back whenever I started following them and taking note of her personality and how strong of a voice she was and how much of a difference she made, I was not where I was today. You know, she really did help inspire and provoke something in me that helped me come out of my shell and helped me be more vocal. And, you know, I had the opportunity to go to her celebration of life, and it was beautiful. I can tell you her sister Silk is pissed. She's angry. She's very, very angry that she lost her sister because, well, we won't go into details. I think it kind of gets too political. I try to keep the politics off here, but, you know, that woman, she was just a powerful voice. She taught me a lot, and I will never forget that. So I was there. I was in the front row. I was with four other friends, including me, total of 5. We were in the, you know, we're front row. That's the kind of people we are, and we love our friends. We love our distance friends. We love our associates and our acquaintances just the same. And you know, the world got a little dimmer when Diamond lost her life. So I was excited, you know, for the upcoming stuff, but we will forge ahead because we know that that's what she would want. So anyways, who's Diamond and what happened to her? Oh, she's a political talking head, but she was so hilarious. She was so funny. She was so loud, and she had no problem telling a mofo where to go. I love her. I love her. So thank you, Potty Mouth. Nice to see you. All the way from the UK. Thank you. Thank you, Tasha. It's nice to see you too. So we're sitting out here. Thank God. So far, keep fingers crossed. Weather is cooperating so far. But I am going to unplug my my Wi-Fi, my box, because the phone is getting a little low. Charged up. There we go. Now we're charging on the phone. I don't like it getting too low. I've got 2 phones with me. I've got the one that I'm running the live on, and I've got the Apple for, in case I do see her, I can get good 4K image. Yes, that was sad, Diamond Pass. It was sudden too. It was sudden, but it broke my heart because, it broke my heart because of it was sudden, and her sister was there when it happened, and her sister was trying to give her CPR, and nothing was working. It was just hard, and just hearing what they went through was just, it broke my heart. That's all I can say. It broke my heart. But she was a beautiful lady. But I think the one thing that really resonated with me, and I think can resonate with all of us, is she put Diamond's shoes there. She put Diamond's shoes. They had a big, beautiful photo of Diamond. They had her urn with a beautiful photo of her on the urn, and they put her shoes right there. And she had this speech about, you know, The reason why I put her shoes there is because those were her shoes. Those are the shoes she walked in. Her shoes aren't my shoes. My shoes aren't your shoes. You see where I'm going with this story? So, Beth, the hearing's at 1:30 in room 2C. So, yeah, sickle cell anemia is and I actually had several friends when I was in high school that died from sickle cell. So it's definitely something that does plague the Black population, and something that they should be very concerned with. Yep. Well, you guys know I was trucking all over South Carolina in those backwoods by myself. Thank God for that older man. I mean, if you guys heard him, he was really old. He was really tall too, like huge guy, but just a sweet teddy bear. And he kind of walked with a little hunch, and you could tell he had mobility issues, but just a nice, bright guy. And he took me to all the places, every place that I went, from Stephen Smith's grave to his memorial where he died, Mallory Beach's grave site, as well as where Alec tried to have that botched suicide attempt. Yeah, he took me to all those places, and he took me over to the road, Moselle and Murdaugh. They had a road named after them. So I actually took a picture of the crossroads, and as I was turning around, a homeowner was walking out of his house, and, of course, I was being respectful, and thank God I was wrapped up. But he comes up and he's like, I said, well, I'm just a reporter. I said, I'm just here, just taking a photo of the sign. He goes, I know what you're here for, and it's not around here. You don't need to be coming. And I said, well, I am leaving, and I was on the phone with my mom, so, I wasn't concerned, because if anything happened to me, my mom knew right where I was. But I was sitting there thinking, like, dude, I'm like being nice to you. Please turn around, go back in your house. I'm still on public property. I didn't touch his property. I'm doing a 3-point turn literally in the middle of the road when he's approaching me. And it's like I was about 2 seconds of telling him, if you really want me to leave, you might want to just leave me alone, because if you don't, I will be back every single day taking pictures in the middle of the flipping road. You do not know me. like guys need to watch out who you talk to, because I will do something that will piss you off if you piss me off. That's just all there is to it. We were in Hampton County. It's called Low Country. I keep saying Low County, and everybody's like, oh, you making a mistake. So I got it. Low Country. Low Country, they dominated Low Country, South Carolina, for a century. And it's just hard for me to believe that only one of them, it's hard for me to believe that he could defraud so many clients for so long without the help of somebody in his office. And nobody's still been able to satisfy or close that worry box of mine of who else is his accomplice. Because somebody, I'm telling you, I worked in law firms. I know how they are. And you're talking about a prestigious law firm that they had. Are you kidding me? They had like even their own attorneys didn't sign checks. You know what I'm saying? Like they had, it's just crazy. They have, I guarantee, an entire accounting department. I just want to know how this was able to happen. Rule 1, there's one rule: do not, under any circumstances, piss off Lord Betty. Right? But I would have done it respectfully. I wouldn't have argued with him. I would have just told him, like, look, I'm leaving. If you really want to tick me off, I'm on public property. I'll come back every damn day if I want to. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I'm very disappointed, but I like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Maybe I'm getting a heart. Maybe I'm calming down a little bit. Who knows? Who knows? It's 2023. All these different changes, right? So for those that are just tuning in, we are in front of the Chatham County Courthouse right now. We are waiting for the arrival of Leilani Simon in the Quinton Simon Leilani murder trial, but it's because she murdered her 20-month-old child and threw him away like a bag of trash. It took weeks for the FBI, Chatham County Police, and Georgia State Police to unearth his body in massive tons of trash. They did and were able to successfully retrieve Quinton Simon, which now is in the FBI headquarters and has been there since the day he was released from their autopsy. I'm wondering why they still are maintaining his remains at this time. I really don't know. I don't know if there's an issue with who gets his remains. Is it going to be Bubba Moss? Is it going to be Billy Joe? We know Billy Joe jumped the gun and had somebody donate a casket to her, even though she is to me, is the ultimate responsible person to this whole crime, because she actually went to court and told the court her daughter was unfit to watch and care for these children, i.e. why she needed to have them in her custody. So if you are telling the courts that your daughter, obviously you are very well aware that your daughter is unfit to take care of children, why are you leaving weeks on end with your children in that very daughter's custody? I have many problems with that. But we're out here. We're here not to bring our issues to the front doorsteps of Chatham County, but rather sit back and listen to the legal strategy and legal maneuvering of the defense, as well as the prosecution in this case, as the defense is requesting defacts paperwork to be brought into this case. The state does not want to have those documents in the public eye. It is confidential under several statutes here in Georgia, that they are to remain confidential and not be released to the public. So by them being brought in here now, they could technically seal those documents for their protection, so they can be brought into this case. That would probably be, if it's necessary, the strategy that the judge may take. I can't imagine the judge allowing this stuff. I mean, but if it is used at trial, it's going to be in open court anyway. So there's only so long that they can hide it from the public's eye. And I don't know how it's going to help her case. I am pretty sure and pretty confident once the public knows to the gravity of these children and what these children went through, I think it's going to be a lot harder for Leilani to not be responsible for this crime. And I think it's going to be a lot worse for Leilani in the criminal justice system moving forward once she's convicted. There are a lot of women in jail right now that can't see their children that want to desperately, and to know that she was so disrespectful to her own kin, her own offspring, so much so that one wound up in a landfill because of her. I don't know how many of these women in this jail, I mean, you're talking about Chatham County, baby. I don't know. And she's going to be going to prison. I don't know. I don't know, they're wanting to bring this stuff in. I'm not sure how it's going to be beneficial, but if they say it's going to be beneficial, I think in the long run, it's going to be a double-edged sword. That's just my personal opinion of it. And I think once the bell is rung, it can't be unrung. And so I hope that the judge is very cautious and cognizant of that. If they do bring these confidential files into the court case, I hope that at least for the immediate duration of time that they seal those records from the public's eye while they're able to prepare the defense for Leilani. Honestly, I really don't want to. I want to see them, as a person that covers these types of cases, but for the integrity of the trial, I don't know what good it would be for us to have our hands on them, in all honesty. But if they're released to the public, I will cover it. I really wish Diane would press charges against Billy Joe for breaking and entering and assaulting her child. But, at the end of the day, Billy Joe did spend 10 days in jail. While I don't consider that justice for her part in this, I'll take it. I'll take anything. I'm just happy. There was three goals we had in mind being here. The first one, finding Quinton's little body. That was first. I didn't care about somebody going to jail. I mean, I just felt Leilani should have already been in jail to begin with. That's why I was so pissed off. But, at the end of the day, I just wanted Quinton home so he could be put to rest. The second thing was Leilani being put behind bars. The third thing was Billy Joe being put behind bars. So far, all three of those goals that we had when we came down here have actually come to fruition. Now, granted, it came to fruition shortly after we left, 10 days after we left, by the way. But it did come. The justice, the wheels of justice here. And then, of course, no charge Hadley. Charges are one measly little crime, right? So the state prosecutor gets the file. And it's like, oh, we could charge her with this, 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 and this. In my opinion, he should have known that. He should have been the one that was proactive and charged her with the charges. That was his job. And so the state attorney adding those charges just show what a crappy, what a crappy law enforcement, counterpart. Like, I know Jeff Hadley was the one dictating all this to his people. He's the one that brought the charges, right? He could have easily had her in jail well before the date that he had her in jail. We all know that. There's no dispute of that. When he went up to the podium, when they found Quinton, he acknowledged that. And that's what frustrates me. No charge, Hadley. Letting baby killers run the streets of Chatham County. Great job. I'll never get off that. I have never been in a community like this. It still rubs my butt raw. It unnerves me even being here, having to cover this case, but I'm happy we are here and covering this case because at least she is behind bars. I just wish that Jeff Hadley would do better. That's really at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want him to do better for his community, because to me, everything I saw was a failure. It was a failure. Yeah, you got your woman at the end, but it should never have come to all of this. It should have never come to all of this. So I'm really disappointed that it had to get to this point to get stuff done, but it didn't have to. He should have done his job well. And hopefully he's learned from his mistakes. Hopefully this is so notable that he'll never forget what he made a mistake on, or mistakes. And next time, Hadley, let's not arrest protesters, okay? Let them exercise their constitutional rights. Why don't you send law enforcement out there to make sure everybody is safe, so you're not having to keep going back and forth and getting your phones blown up and stuff like that. There was better ways to handle it. And next time, the best practices, according to the ACLU, that thing, your officers didn't even know what the ACLU is, which is sad, especially since they're black. Like, that is really bad. You need to educate your officers. They've got to do better. But this making up the laws as you go, you are not the legislature of this state. You cannot make up laws as you go. And you violating people's rights means that you're no better than the people that you arrest that violate other people's rights. So, guys, we're at 1 minute and 22 seconds. We're at right about noon. I'm going to pack up. I'm going to go grab me a bite to eat, get some coffee in me, and then I'm going to head into the courthouse. I want to thank each and every one of you guys that chose to come here and spend your time with me. Let me just check on my back end, make sure everything is looking good. I think it is. I don't recall doing anything at the beginning, but who knows? Who knows? Okay, we're doing good. I'm so proud of you guys. We're doing really good on the back end. So we're awesome job. Yeah, I'm staying safe. I feel safe around here. I'm not worried. I know, like, Dolly's like, I'm so scared they're gonna. Dude, are you kidding me? I don't. If anybody believes that, I don't have problems with law enforcement. This is the first town I've ever came in. Like, even in Gabby Petito's, we didn't have jerks like the officers here that think that they're above the people that they serve. That's the kind of mentality that they've got going through their police departments here. That they are above us, that they can speak down to us. You got the wrong one, babe. That's all I can say. You got the wrong one. So hopefully we can all, have a kumbaya moment, all get along for the sake of this child and getting this murder trial underway. But I tell you, one more violation of my rights, I'm taking the gloves off, and I will start spending some real money to sue this county. So just take note. Anyways, guys, God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you until next time. Don't forget to be fearless. See something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I truly believe if people would have actually stood up long before this child would still be alive. And that is the saddest part of this case. So, guys, go make it a great day, and God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, see you soon.